Hi, it's Sabrina from SQ Active, helping you stay active and pain-free. For those of you who don't know me, I help people move better so that they can become fitter and do the things that they enjoy without aches and pains developing. So today I'm talking about gardening still, because obviously the sun is out and garden centres are now open, so people are out pottering around in their garden. A lot of people complain about aches, pains and stiffness after gardening, mostly because they're not prepared for the activities, and gardening is quite strenuous, and actually it counts as one of your physical activities, and it can be a lot of strength resistance training. So how can you prepare yourself better so that you are in a fit state when you go out to garden, so that you can avoid aches, pains and injuries? So gardening, today we're talking about lifting, pruning, things that are probably a bit higher up. So yesterday we focused on things that were like in your flower bed on the ground. So for example, if you are pruning, firstly, if you're quite short, you're going to end up doing a lot of reaching. So you want to ensure you've got a good strong core when you're reaching. If you haven't got those extended shears with the really long arms, then you're going to have to reach across, and you're going to be reaching and balancing. So this requires you to have really good core strength in terms of how you twist and move, so that you can reach without using your back. So what will happen if you don't have that is you're going to end up using more of your lower body, and you're potentially using more of your quads, so that when you're reaching over, it's not coming from the center of your body. So a lot of your movement, or actually all your movements, should come from your trunk. So if you haven't got a strong core, you're going to start to compensate in other areas of your body. So you need to work on your core first and foremost to make sure you're stable. If you're reaching for high places, firstly, try and ensure that you're facing the object you're trying to work on. So if it's in front of you, stand face on to it. The more you have to twist, the more you're reliant on the side of your body. And if you haven't worked strength into the muscles here, you're going to find that you're straining yourself, and you might overstretch on the other side if you're sort of twisting. So if you were preparing for it, if you were doing exercises to help you prepare, you would work the side of your body, either through exercises, for example, like the standing bicycle, or you could be doing it in Pilates, where you would be doing like a lying down bicycle movement, and this strengthens those oblique muscles. If you are also reaching across, if you're finding you're having to reach across, try not to just move just your upper body and twist, because that's going to cause, again, a lot of strain. So you want to be able to twist the whole of your body. So try and reach across where you're actually twisting from the full length of your body straight down to your heel, and reach across from there. So you're doing whatever you need to do, and keep it short. You don't want to be stuck in that position for long periods of time. What else have we got? Reaching. Okay, so if you're reaching across, you are reliant on your shoulders. So if you haven't got good strong shoulders, you may start to feel more pain afterwards. You probably won't feel it when you do it, unless they're really bad, in which case you're going to know about it. But if you find your shoulders are quite achy afterwards, and you've done quite a lot of overhead work, so for example, you're reaching across and you're doing whatever you need to do, like you're pruning trees, bushes, whatever, shrubs, and your arms are up in that position the whole time, you want to make sure you've got strong shoulders. So if you're doing exercises for it, you are going to be doing shoulder exercises. So as you bring your arm up, just make sure your arm is pulling into your socket, so you're starting to use the strength of the rotator cuff muscles. So these are all the muscles that support the shoulder joint. Make sure that they're nice and secure. So you'd be doing a range of different movements for your shoulders. So the shoulders can make a lot of different motions, so you'd have to strengthen in all directions in order to ensure you've got nice stable shoulders, so that when you are doing your things that require your arms to be elevated, they remain strong and supported, and they're nice and stable, so that they don't ache afterwards. You might find that when you're reaching, so if you're reaching for something high, you're spending quite a lot of time on your tiptoes, especially if you're short. Obviously, the easiest solution to that would be to stand on something. So get a block, get a stool, stand on your stool. Obviously, you're going to need your core strength if you're leaning over, so that you don't fall. But if you haven't got anything and you are coming up onto your toes, you're going to need strength in your lower legs, so your calves, and your mobility in your ankles. So in order to strengthen your ankles, you can simply do some calf raises. So all you're doing here is coming up onto the balls of your feet, up and down. So at this point as well, you want to be able to engage those abs. You're pulling your belly button in towards your spine and squeezing your butt as you come up, so you activate your glutes at the same time as well. Get them to do some work. And then you should really feel it in your lower legs, so in your calves. And if your ankles are weak, you might start to feel it in your ankles. So you want to have good mobility in your ankles. So another thing you can do is also just make sure you're able to do full rotations of your ankles both ways. Any areas where you find it's a little bit sticky, jammed, that's the area you need to work on. And it might be that some of your calves, some parts of your calf are quite tight, so you can give yourself a self-massage with it. Just find those areas where they're a bit tense, help release some of that tension and get the ankle moving again, because when you are reaching up high and if you are on your toes, you need those ankles to be nice and stable. You don't want them to collapse over and create a sprain. You don't want a sprained ankle. So that's your ankle mobility. Yeah, so basically the things you need to focus on when you're working higher up: core strength, shoulders, ankle mobility, and obviously hips. So basically a good whole body workout will support you well when you're out doing your gardening. But for now, if you don't, obviously if you've not done any exercises prior, just make sure you warm up beforehand. Use things to help you reach, so stand on items. Engage the core, so even if you've not done any core work, you can always still pull that belly button and draw it in so that the abs are engaged and then they're supporting your back for when you reach. When you're working on things, try to be face on towards them, so not at an angle sideways. Try to avoid doing that. When you're lifting things up from the floor, bend your knees, keep your back flat so it's not rounding when you go and pick things up. When you're moving things around, keep that back nice and strong so it's nice and long and not rounded. And definitely don't be lifting and carrying things around with your back like this, because all the strain now is in your spine when it should be in your bum. So hinge from the hips and lift and move from here. So you can just turn around rather than from here and then trying to twist like this. Twist your whole body. If you turn your whole body and then bring it down, that will be the safer position for you if you haven't been following a workout plan prior to this. So go out and enjoy your gardens. Let me know if you've got any questions about the movements that you can be doing to help you improve your strength whilst you're out in the garden. And yeah, enjoy the sunshine. I think I forgot to mention one thing about pulling. So if you were doing, let's say you were weeding and you had some really big weeds that you needed to pull out. So this is going to be more your pulling action, like such. So maybe you've got your shovel in the ground, you've got your foot in it, and you're trying to pull, or you've got the shovel and you're trying to dig, so it's stuck. The weeds are underneath, the roots are underneath, you're trying to get it out. So this involves a bit of both pushing and pulling. So in order to be able to strengthen yourself for those movements, you're going to do push-ups. So you can do them against the wall, you can do them against the table if you're not strong enough to do them on the floor. And you can also do pulling exercises. Your pulling exercises for your back, you will need something to help you do your pulling exercises. It's quite hard to do it without any resistance. So if you've got some elastic resistance bands, you can use your bands. You can also hang from a bar if you're strong enough. If you're strong enough to hang from a bar, you're sorted in terms of your pulling strength. But if you're not, you could hang from a bar, or even just holding some weights up here and pushing them away from you. So it could be like you've got some bottles of water, you're pushing them up away from you, but just make sure your shoulders are good before you start, so otherwise you'll start to aggravate them if your shoulders are in a poor position. So yeah, and if you want any more tips or a more detailed way of working through things and understanding how exercise is supporting your day-to-day life, then hop over to the group. The group's got a lot more, I'm putting a lot more detail into the way exercises help you in your day-to-day life, and also in a more structured manner that you can follow. So if you want more detailed information, go over to the group. I'll post a link in the comments so you've got them, so you can just join from there. Okay, thanks a lot, bye.